Jiwa Yokoso. My name is Dr. Nakiba Jackson, and I am a confident, bold, inspiring, and worthy leader as I think so shall I be. So, welcome to Freedom Friday, and it's me showing up today exactly as I am. So, if you've watched my channel or followed my channel at all, you know that I started Freedom Fridays a few years ago where I was chronicling my journey as I was working towards the goal of losing weight to get down to 252 pounds. Um, and I've shared along my journey along the way. The past few years, I haven't been as consistent as I was when I initially started the goal. And I started a couple of videos. And so now I'm just coming back just to say I'm still here and I just want to show up as my authentic self. Right now, I want to recognize and acknowledge the fact that I am still doing Freedom Fridays. I want to expand more to becoming unbound, to allow people to see me becoming unbound and just allowing myself to operate in who I am, who I'm becoming, and what I'm releasing. So, Freedom Friday has always been about releasing the weight of the past to allow me to free up my future. However, during this journey, as I've been sharing and backing away from sharing as much, I realized I became bound. I became bound by perceptions of what I was thinking other people were thinking and what I felt like I should show up, and then bound by a former perception of myself and being able to work towards a goal that was no longer aligned to the person that I wanted to become. So, if you know, I started this channel back in 2021, and I took a transition to move to Japan. And Japan has been a big transition for myself. Moving from the United States, coming to Japan with myself and my daughter, it was a change that I knew I needed, but the way that I received it, I didn't realize I was going to get everything that I asked for. So as I move forward with this channel, I just want to just continue to be authentic and just show up as I am. And so I allow other people to show what I'm releasing from as I move more from the the version of myself who I was before and just allowing me to be the person that I envision myself to be, even greater than that. So um what happened for me in the beginning, like when I moved to Japan, there were so many things that I was nervous about, right? I was nervous about, I was in a leadership program, and the support that I had was a different level of support. It was based on a lot of things that was going on for me at the time. And some of the things that I was nervous by that I allowed myself to be bound with was what was that support going to look like for me when I transitioned to an unknown place with unknown challenges and then just an unknown environment. I had never considered coming to Japan at all. And it was just a big shift for me. So, still working towards a healthy journey and also trying to figure out how to balance a new work life, balance coming to a country where I barely understand the culture, much less the vernacular and the language altogether. So it was like I was put inside of a bubble. I love snow globes, right? So the bubble for me was like a snow globe, and I felt like I was being shielded from a lot of things that was happening in the world that I left from. When I first moved here, within the first few months, I had tragedy that struck in my family, um, and it was unexpected. And my family's still dealing with the aftermath of what happened with that. So trying to get answers. And in the midst of that, dealing with things that was just going on personally. So that first year I spent a lot of time just transitioning because what used to work for me didn't work for me. I left from an environment where I was mostly working from home, um, and I knew my environment. I was very familiar with my environment, socially, and from a work standpoint. And with my family, I knew where to go and how to go. So when I shifted from that environment and moved into this environment where I end up having to come in the office working with an entirely different group of people, working for a different organization, and then trying to find my footing in terms of things that was going on in my home and just things that was going on for me. And it was very tough for me to try to live in two places at one time. So trying to support myself here while supporting my life in Georgia, it was a big transition. And also trying to manage what does wellness look like for me in a country where the simple thing for me to do was go on the base where I worked at and to be able to get food, which wasn't always the best choices. It had to be an intentional choice. Where I was used to in the States, I knew where to go and get my fresh food, and I knew where to get just everything. Coming here, the thing that I heard when I got here was like, coming to Japan, oh, everybody's healthy. They just eat well. And I just thought everything was going to fall in place. Before coming to Japan, my goal was going to Italy. And so I had some thoughts on what Italy was like. I did all this research looking towards Italy. So coming to Japan was a total shift. Um, and that shift, what I was going through at the time, it wasn't allowing me to shift in real time and set up systems for me that would support the person that I was becoming. What I was doing was being bound to the version of myself that was stuck in the States and not allowing myself to be free and allowing myself to see what that free version of myself looked like in Japan. So since moving to Japan, that first year was it was a lot of traveling going on and just trying to find my footing, trying to catch myself. And then the following year, I end up having some emergency surgery, which I might have shared before. And as I was healing from the emergency surgery, not even a week later from being home, I fell and I fractured my foot, which I didn't know at the time it was fractured. And so for me, um, the first thing I said was like, I don't want to go back to the hospital because I just had three surgeries technically. The surgery to place the stent. The second was the surgery to remove the bladder and the stones. And the third one was to remove the stent that was placed. So that was all from right after Thanksgiving of that initial year to beginning of the following year, which was 2024. And then by the first week of February, I fell and broke my foot. So other thing was Janet Jackson. So I wanted to see her, right? And I was like, it's so much stuff that wasn't going on for me that was right. So I had got a chance to see several concerts of people that I knew I manifested. But a few years ago, one of my friends had got a ticket to see Janet Jackson. And I was like, I'm going to not see Janet Jackson again. And I was like, nope, I'm going to figure out what to do with this foot because I want to walk. And so instead of doing some of the things, like going to the doctor, I refused to accept the fact that anything bad was wrong with my foot. And I wanted to accept the fact that my body could be healed by me if I took care of what I needed to do. And so when I ignored one aspect, I was able to do the thing that I wanted to do. I went to go see Janet Jackson. I actually enjoyed seeing her. Um, and things aligned up for me so well that time because um, I was able to get a nice hotel room at the last minute. I was able to bring my child with me. I upgraded my room, and I was walking around literally not knowing I had a broken foot to see Janet Jackson, and it was great. I saw her. I got to see TLC, and so um, from that year after that, when my foot wasn't getting better, as I'm still trying to work through walking and doing the things, I was like, go to the doctor. Went to the doctor, and that's where I got the news. The news was, your foot has been broken for a few months now, and it's too late for surgery, which was the thing I said I didn't want to do, surgery, right? And it said, so you're pretty much going to have to work through it. And so working through it meant I still had to get my foot wrapped up, and I was still trying to walk. But as I was trying to walk, my foot was still swelling up and I wasn't getting any better. So I went from all that to being on crutches, and I really shifted. So I had myself in this mindset where I felt so down because I was so stuck on the version of myself previous years who was working out, who was able to find everything, and because I knew my environment. So now, because I was holding on to an old environment and an old version of myself, and I was not willing to let it go, I didn't allow myself to fully heal the way I could have healed. And so um, when I let go and released it, I started showing up for myself in a different fashion than what I expected. And so, um, my star principle for today, for the Unbound journey, is letting you know that when everything is aligned, you have great alignment over obligation. And it just means that there's no such thing as a perfect recovery or a perfect goal weight. You always have to show up in your purpose, which was the thing that I wanted to do. So, just as a reminder, one of the things that I said was I didn't want to get surgery again. And so I guess in the back of my mind, I knew I probably needed surgery, but my mind was telling me, you can work through it. Second thing was I wanted to see Janet Jackson. So whatever it took for me to see her, I was going to do that. So that meant me going every few days to go get my foot wrapped up. I also was getting acupuncture. And when my foot started swelling up a little more, I left my foot up. And so those were the things that I wanted to do. And those were the things I accomplished. Um, did it have another impact on me later on? It did. However, like I said, the thing is alignment over obligation. So when you have yourself set on a particular goal or what you want to do, sometimes you don't have to be married to how it gets done. Just continue to focus on what's the purpose behind what you want to do. And so that's what being unbound for me means. It's like you can show up for yourself. There's no such thing as a perfect anything. Even for me, as I was working towards getting to the 252 pounds, one of the things that I didn't allow myself to do was to enjoy the full journey, like enjoy the things that I actually could hold on to. And some of those things was being able to integrate my lifestyle into things that I wanted to do and learn how to um, navigate through what I was dealing with at the time and think about what the long term meant for me. Um, so just Freedom Friday today is just letting you know that I'm working on becoming unbound. I'm shifting the focus because it's more than just about meeting one goal, meeting two goals, and you get there and you're done. It's a lifetime journey, it's a lifestyle. And for me, that's what unbound means to me. That's why you see the shift of becoming unbound with Dr. Jackson. So I want you to also know there are certain things that I'm doing differently for myself. So for me, being unbound means getting myself the support that I need. So for me, I admit that cleaning up is not my favorite pastime, but I like coming home to having a nice together place. So I allow myself to not be bound by what other people or what I thought other people think I should do, which is, oh, you should do this every day. I get to pay someone to come in and take care of myself. So when I get to come home, I get to come home relaxed and get to focus more on things that actually enjoy doing, like recording a Freedom Friday, right? Um, and then the last part is just talking about my legacy. So one of the things that I've been bound to hiding, which I'm releasing, is the fact that I've had Nakiba Starr Consulting Group LLC that's been in production or founded since 2020. And some of the things that I've been doing is helping other people work towards their issues. But because of some of the things that I've been dealing with internally, I didn't always want to put myself out in the forefront. So what I'm going to talk to you now that my channel is becoming unbound, um, I want everybody to know who I am. So unbound to the perception of myself that I have to put different parts of myself out. What you'll get from me is the entire version of Dr. Nakiba Starr. So if you're ready to release what's been holding you back or what's been bounding you, I would like for you to join me on my journey as I am becoming unbound. And I invite you to let's become unbound with me. So what you will see is the version of me that's becoming unbound and what that looks like in real time. And so if you have some thoughts or if you have some things that you want to become unbound with and maybe I can help you with, please reach out, subscribe, and let's become unbound together. Thank you for watching.